The day I married Ethan was supposed to be the happiest day of my life. Instead, it became the day I lost everything I had ever known. I was the only daughter of Charles Anderson, the powerful CEO of one of the largest technology companies in the country. Growing up, I had everything money could buy: luxury cars, designer clothes, private schools, and vacations around the world. But despite all that wealth, there was one thing my father could never buy: my happiness. When I met Ethan, he was working as a mechanic. He wasn't rich, famous, or connected. He was simply kind, honest, and hardworking. Those qualities meant more to me than all the money in my father's bank accounts. My father disagreed. For months, he tried to convince me to end the relationship. He even introduced me to wealthy businessmen and executives, hoping I would choose one of them instead. But I chose Ethan. The morning after our wedding, my father summoned me to his office. "I warned you," he said coldly. "Dad." "No. You made your choice." Then he handed me a folder. Inside were documents removing me from family trusts, company benefits, and financial accounts. "From today forward, you're on your own." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. My own father had cut me off completely. As I left his office with tears in my eyes, I felt terrified. But Ethan squeezed my hand and said, "We'll build our own future." At the time, I hoped he was right. Reality hit us hard. We moved into a small apartment on the edge of town. The place was tiny compared to the mansion I had grown up in. The first night, we sat on the floor because we couldn't afford a proper dining table. I tried to stay positive, but it wasn't easy. For the first time in my life, I worried about rent, utility bills, and grocery costs. Every purchase required careful planning. One evening, after our old refrigerator stopped working, I broke down crying. "I don't know how to do this," I admitted. Ethan sat beside me. "You don't have to know everything," he said gently. "You just have to keep trying." His faith in me gave me strength. I began searching for work, but many employers assumed I had only succeeded because of my father's influence. After weeks of rejection, I decided to create my own opportunity. I started an online business selling personalized gifts and handmade home decorations. At first, sales were slow. Some days, I made less than $20. But every order gave me hope. I packed boxes, answered customer messages, and worked late into the night. Little by little, the business began to grow. 3 months later, something unexpected happened. A popular lifestyle influencer ordered one of my products. A week later, she posted a video featuring it. Within hours, hundreds of new orders flooded my website. I thought it was a mistake. But the orders kept coming. 4 days, Ethan and I worked non-stop. We transformed our apartment into a mini warehouse. Boxes filled the living room. Packing supplies covered the kitchen table. Although we were exhausted, we were happier than ever. Soon, I hired 2 employees to help manage the workload. The business continued expanding faster than I had imagined. By the 5th month, our revenue had reached 6 figures. I stared at the financial reports in disbelief. Not long ago, I had been terrified about paying rent. Now I was running a successful company. The most satisfying part wasn't the money. It was knowing that every dollar had been earned through hard work. No family connections. No special treatment. Just determination and persistence. For the first time in my life, I truly believed in myself. Exactly 6 months after my wedding, I received an invitation to speak at a national entrepreneurship conference. I almost declined. Public speaking had never been my strength. But Ethan encouraged me. "You've earned this opportunity," he said. The conference hall was packed with business leaders, investors, and entrepreneurs. As I stepped onto the stage, I felt nervous. Then my eyes landed on someone sitting in the front row. My father. I nearly forgot my speech. He hadn't contacted me once in 6 months. Now he was sitting there, watching. I took a deep breath and began speaking. I shared my journey honestly. I talked about losing everything. About struggling financially. About building a business from scratch. When I finished, the audience stood and applauded. Afterward, my father approached me. For several seconds, neither of us spoke. Finally, he broke the silence. "I was wrong about you." Those words shocked me. He looked older than I remembered. More tired. More humble. "I thought you needed my money to succeed," he admitted. "But you've accomplished more than I ever expected." For the first time, I saw pride in his eyes. A few days later, my father visited our apartment. He looked around at the modest space, the busy employees, and the growing business operation. Then he smiled. I spent years trying to protect you, he said. But in doing so, I prevented you from discovering your own strength. I listened quietly. I thought wealth would guarantee your success, he continued. Now I understand that character matters more. He offered to restore my inheritance and even invited me to join the family company as an executive. The old version of me would have accepted immediately. But I wasn't that person anymore. Thank you, I said. But I want to continue building my own business. Instead of getting angry, he nodded. I respect that. As he prepared to leave, he turned back one last time. I've never been prouder of you. Tears filled my eyes. For months, I had wanted to hear those words. After he left, Ethan wrapped his arm around me. You did it, he said. I smiled and looked around at everything we had built together. 6 months earlier, being cut off had felt like a disaster. Now I understood it had been a gift in disguise. Losing my father's money had forced me to discover my own abilities. And that lesson was worth more than any inheritance could ever be. The future no longer belonged to my father's empire. It belonged to me.